girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.
Incarceration, America's rock, metal, and tattoo festival with Slipknot. Falling in Reverse, Five Finger Death Punch, plus Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Beartooth, Knocked Loose, Lamb of God, Parkway Drive, I Prevail, In This Moment, and so many more. Report to the Ohio State Reformatory on July 18th through 20th, 2025 to face your sentencing. 3 days of rock, tattoos, and the return of the Haunted Blood Prison. Passes for Incarceration are on sale now at incarceration.com. Zombified.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And real quick housekeeping note, if you're watching us on YouTube, Rumble, or BitChute, or Odyssey, please hit that follow and subscribe button. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever podcast platform you utilize, please hit that follow and subscribe button so I can continue to bring you conversations like the one I'm bringing you today. We're going across the pond here and speaking with my new friend, Envy Marshall. How you doing, Envy?
That's very forward that we're already friends, but okay, cool. We'll skip a few. We'll skip the drinks. We'll skip the dinner. Yeah, I'm really good. How you doing? How you doing, y'all? Where are you guys based?
I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, cool. I lived in Louisville, Kentucky for a while, so I've sort of been out that way. But yeah, I Googled Boondoggle, and it says an unnecessary, wasteful, or fraudulent project. So I wasn't sure if I should come.
Yeah, there's a story behind that. When I was in the military, I kind of stole that from an old senior chief of mine when I was in the Navy. And I mean, we're 347 episodes in, so I guess we're doing all right.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah. I'm wasting a lot of time here.
It's okay. I don't think you're fraudulent. It checks out. Story checks out. Nice.
Well, usually when I have somebody on for the first time, I like to get a quick background. So do you remember originally what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Yeah, two things. First, I wanted to be a singer and a musician. And then I got that knocked out of me by my brothers and everyone around me. So then I became a professional wrestler. And I wanted to be one of those two things. So I became both of those things. And yeah, that's what I wanted to be. First, it was a lawyer, but boring. No offense, I need my lawyer.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I was so excited to have this conversation, because it involves like all of my favorite loves, rock and roll music, professional wrestling, and beautiful women from Australia. So it's just like,
there you go. Cool.
This is like a bucket list interview right here.
I tick every freaking box, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could retire after this episode, I think.
Oh, stop.
But
you know what they say though? They say when you retire, as soon as you retire, you need to get a hobby or a passion or something, because the mortality rate is not good during retirement. So
yeah, pretty much. I'm retired from the US Navy, and this is one of my hobbies and passion projects. So
you need to keep this going, because it's feeding your soul,
Exactly. So what was it that music kind of caught your ear, and who were some of your early influences?
Oh my God, that's the hardest question in the world. Okay, so I'll talk to you about when I was in wrestling. So when I was in wrestling, there were bands like Hinder, and there were bands like Stone Temple Pilots, and there was like Alice in Chains, and there was all the entrance music that we used to have. So there was all those big like American 2000. That's when I was around in 2000. So when I was 2, I was wrestling. In the 2000s when I was working in Kentucky, that was like this real hard rock sound that I loved. I loved the energy of that music, which is very much my new record. And then previous to that, the first band I loved was the Beatles. I loved them. I saw Hard Day's Night when I was a kid because my parents were partying and I was in the kids' room and they left the television on, and I saw the Beatles Hard Day's Night, and I was addicted to that. I became addicted to the Beatles. And then, so that, I guess that was my first thing into addiction to a certain band. I wanted to be Paul McCartney. Like I just wanted to be him. And I don't really do anything by halves. If I like something, I'm all in on the thing. As crazy, as insane as it might be. So that just led to me making my music teacher at school do a production of the Beatles. Every song we had to do at choir or in school was Beatles. Everything we did was Beatles. So, and then from there, that wasn't very cool after a while. It wasn't getting me many boyfriends. So I started to like Nirvana and Offspring and everything that was cool. And then I realized I am starting to get some male attention. So that caught on, I'll be honest. And every guitarist I've ever met started playing guitar to meet girls. So I'm going to be honest and say rock music got me boys. So thank you, rock and roll.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to ask you about the timeline. Like what came first, you performing in music or professional wrestling?
It's a really good question. So I was a kid when I was around music. I loved it. And then I was a young adult when I got into wrestling. So wrestling, I wasn't really supported around the music thing when I was younger. And that's not blaming anyone. That was my journey. So then when I was 18, 19, I got picked up by WWE and OVW and went to Kentucky. Started wrestling there. So I just put myself in the opportunity. I just went over there. I sold all my shit. I just went and moved there and I just started training. So wrestling was really, that's the first time. I was on stage as a kid a little bit, but I wasn't dedicated to it as an art. Wrestling was first for me. And then music came after.
And then back home, like where did you go to school or train for wrestling before OVW?
I didn't really, but I did. So I did one or two lessons with Mark Mercedes at IWA in Sydney, and he was amazing. He was a great mentor. Madison Eagles at PWA in Sydney as well. I did a couple of classes with them because I'd already decided I was going to go live in America. So I didn't really do training here. I trained at OVW. And then I came back from OVW after a year or two, and I trained with Jag in Adelaide at Wrestle Rampage at their dojo there, and he was the best trainer ever. Trained with him. But when I was in America, I trained with like Al Snow, Rip Rogers, Nick Dinsmore. So I've had some really great trainers, and it was freaking amazing. So so that was wrestling, and I was in sort of that developmental territory for OVW. I did TV there. They have a TV show every Wednesday night. I was on that, and then. Yeah, kind of fizzled out. Everything with the OVW moved to FCW. They combined, they became NXT. And then I came back to Australia and bought a guitar and started making music.
Now, before we jump back into the music, what kind of attracted you to try out for wrestling and get into wrestling?
I think I'm insane, firstly. I think you have to have a certain level of crazy insanity to do stuff like this. I do write it off like that sometimes, but to me, I always say to people, you got to follow your highest excitement. Like life is not worth living unless you're doing something that you love or are passionate about or have some sort of fire about. And for me, it was always, the harder it was, the better sort of thing. So I tend to put myself in situations where it's high octane, high adrenaline, high energy, high stakes, big crowds. I love fans. I love meeting fans. I love all of that side of it. But I also love the training for it as well and the journey for it. So wrestling for me was loud. I loved the people. Everyone's larger than life. Everyone has a story. Everyone looks cool. It's just fun. It's a fun place to be. It's a big freak show. And I'm a freak, so it's hard for me to fit in normal society. So I just fit in there.
Nice. And then during your time at OVW, who were some of the people you got to train with?
I mentioned before, so Nick Dinsmore, who was Eugene in WWE, Al Snow, who's the GOAT of pro wrestling. Al Snow, who's, what does everybody want? Head. What does everybody need? Yeah. Anyway, I love him. He's my man. And Rip Rogers, and obviously I'm trying to think who else came in there to train us. We had lots of guest star trainers that would come in from up from the office, and that would come in to train us and give us like daily trainings, but they were my 3 majors.
Yeah, I meant like in your class. Who were some of your classmates?
Oh, okay, that's a good one. Okay, oh my gosh, there's so many. I trained with Brock Lesnar, trained with Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, trained with, who else was in my class? Beth Phoenix. Who else came through? Randy Orton. I'm trying to think who else was around when I was 3 years old, obviously. But yeah, it was a really cool alumni. It was a really cool alumni,
Nice,
and they were kind of all at the start. Beth Phoenix had the WWE. She had the women's championship when she was training there, so that was cool because she would come in with the belt and just stand there like, this could be you, and we're all like, oh, this is so cool. So yeah, it was really good. And I'm trying to think who else was around then. I don't know. I've met everyone. They're all just legends. And at the end of the day, it's hard to mark out for someone in that industry now. I find it very, very hard to get overwhelmed by people's status, if that makes sense, because I've already played with all the people and people like heroes I respect.
Yeah, no, I get that. And but then you ended up like going back home and picking up a guitar, as you said. Let's talk about when Envy became Envy.
Well, Envy became Envy during wrestling. Envy was my wrestling name, just Envy. So Envy Marshall is the musician. So add the Marshall stack to Envy the wrestler, and then you've got me. Just turn the volume up, and there she is. So I was acoustic guitar, and again, I believe this to be true for anyone. At any stage, at any age, you can take the stage. You don't need to wait. You don't need to think you're too old. You don't need to think you can only do one thing. So I bought a guitar because I was very creative. I had something to say, and I wanted to say it. And I've been playing guitar now for like 15 years. That was like, since I was 2. So, it's all sort of like, it connected. But I never wanted to be that hokey person like a Jeff Jarrett playing guitar while I wrestled. I wanted to keep them very separate. So, but I still bring the energy that I had at the freak show of wrestling into the guitar, but it took me about till 2 years ago or till now to combine those two energies to create this record and to create the energy that we're trying to get across with this. And it's pretty exciting.
Well, now you got me thinking back to your time in OVW. Like, what was your like gimmick that you were doing since you weren't doing the guitar thing?
They had we had a Mean Girls gimmick. So we were the popular. It's so obvious. Like we were the popular girls, and we used to beat on the non-popular. It was so obvious. My tag team partner was Taylor Hendricks. I don't know if you know her.
Okay. Yeah.
She was badass. We had a run.
Yeah.
We were both redheads at the time. Yeah. And I guess for me, OVW was about, you got to put yourself in the right place at the right time because opportunity is not going to come and find you. You've really got to put yourself out there. I was the first female to ever go to America. There was heaps after me that got signed. There's so many amazing women over there right now because everything's very different. But we're talking MySpace era, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So what else do?
Yeah. So you opened the door for like Rhea Ripley and others to go over there and do it now.
So we worked together at RCW for a little bit in Adelaide because I'm from Adelaide. So we used to train together. And I didn't do much with RCW because I just went there to do a bit of training while I was sort of moving out. But she was like 16, 17 when I was training there with her. So it was amazing. She was awesome. And she looked good and she worked so hard. And we did this, tell you a story about her. We did a show in Adelaide at the dojo, which is kind of like at the workshop, where we had the wrestling ring, RCW had the wrestling ring. And she just didn't care, man. She just jumped off the top rope and headbutted the ground and she was just bleeding out of her face in front of 5 people. There were like 5 or 6 people there. Like, she's amazing. And we were all like, oh my God. She's like, hey, it's cool. Like, that was like, that's a superstar. What a legend.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. She's one of my
7 people there. 7 people.
Yeah.
I'm like, 7. She didn't care. She's like, it's Madison Square Gardens to her every night. Do you know what I mean? So I respect her immensely.
Well, I hear that a lot from musicians too. It's just like they go out there and play like they're playing, the Madison Square Garden, like you said, even if it's a club or whatever. And then those are the bands too that get get the fan base that blows them up usually. So
Yeah, because you got to stay like humble in your growth. You know what I mean? Like you can't be like, because on the way up there's a way down. You know, so everyone's going to go up and everyone's going to go down. Doesn't matter how big you are. So if you're not like humble in your humility as you're growing, yeah, man. Like I'm just grateful to be here. Like I'm grateful where you are is where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? And who knows what's next?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Nothing's too big, nothing's too small. It's just a ride, and we're lucky to be on it.
Now we were talking earlier too about finding my passion here doing the podcast and stuff, but you also do a podcast as well. What kind of got you into podcasting?
COVID. So we couldn't do anything, could we? So I just was like, So I don't have like a full. I haven't kept that going. It was just I did a few episodes while I was having an episode. No, during COVID. So I'm just curious, man. I got a curious mind. Like every show I do, I sit with the engineer, I sit with the tech, I sit with everyone. I just want to know what's going on in someone's head because I want to know what they've done, what they've seen, how I can learn from it. It's just a curiosity thing. And when I can't, and I'm also an extrovert. So when I'm not learning something, I feel like a bit empty. So I do what you do. I love meeting people and finding out their stories. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah, and it was around the same time frame for me too. It's like I used to do concert promotions here in Cleveland, and before I retired from the Navy, I was I used to book bands and got involved in that scene, and I loved the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and then then I became a girl dad, and I got sober after my last deployment, and I still had those connections in the music world, so I decided, well, why don't I do a podcast and get people on and learn, talk about their journeys and their struggles and what they've overcome.
It's a really good idea. Isn't it fun? It's a lot of work. So I really respect you because I know how much work it is because I've done it myself, the editing and everything. So I really respect the work you put into it because I know it. I don't know it's not easy to do this. So I appreciate the work. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool what you're doing, and thank you for doing this for artists.
Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on, and I know I'm going to get in trouble with Jamie if we don't get into your latest single.
Well, if you want to talk about wrestling, we can talk about wrestling, but really it ties in. Like I don't know if you've heard it, but it's wrestling. Do you know what I mean? Like you haven't heard my record, but when you do, you'll be like, yeah, she's definitely. This is
I saw the teaser, the teaser video and stuff, and so I'm excited, for it looks like a nice like maybe an APA scene at the barroom brawl or something.
Well, we've updated the video, but we've got another song coming out called Hurt, and that's very much a wrestling song. Like I actually choke slam myself in the video. So like, I mean, that you're never going to be able to take that part of me out. You're never going to be able to get rid of that part of me. It's who I am. I spent 10, 15 years around that business. Now I'm in the music business, very different, but it's still a business. But yeah, this song, I can't say F, but
yeah, you can. Like, it's an adult program.
Oh, cool. Okay, fuck like a man. Oh, it feels so good to say that. It's
feels so good to hear you say it.
Oh, thank you so much. And I've got that Stone Cold Steve Austin hell yeah in it because for me, like I smashed 2 cans of beer together and drink him. Like, I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. I love him. I think I've got like a cutout. Look, can you see him? He's there. He's just right behind me every day.
Oh yeah. I see him.
Nice. He's with me. He's with me all the time. So like I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm obsessed with the energy of those big freaks, and I bring that into every performance. So yeah.
Awesome. So I wanted to ask you about the song then. I mean, other than the obvious, like what was the kind of the inspiration and the message that you're sending out there?
Right, it's a really good question. So I've had this question asked to me a lot, and I don't want to plug the idea of what it is to people, but I always say it's the Man, I Feel Like a Woman, Shania Twain's girl anthem for today, because everyone's changed since that song came out, and the world's gotten a lot more crass. And I don't want this song to be crass, but I do want this song to be an exclamation point, like, let's have a good time. Who cares what gender we are? Who cares? Like it's a beer drinking song. It's a riot song. It's a party song. It's a dance song. It's funny. It's boot scooting. It'll make you dance. It'll make you drink. It's for me, when I wrote the song, I didn't go, I want to write a country song. I was just in my kitchen. I wasn't touring. I was in the writing process. I was freaking making dinner, and I hate it. I just was so bored. I was making dinner. And I'm in the writing process, and my brain was clear, and I know I'm making an album, and all I got was fuck like a man in my head. And obviously it doesn't mean, it's not literal, okay?
Yeah.
It means
there's no pegging involved.
No, so, everyone asks that. And when I used to say I was a wrestler, everyone used to say to me, jelly wrestling. And now everyone says to me, pegging. So I'm used to these questions. But like with no, for me, it's all about energy, masculine energy. So there's feminine energy and there's masculine energy, and women shouldn't be afraid to have masculine energy and feminine energy. So for me, it's just more like, you know, hell yeah, let's go, you know, and it's not just for women, it's for everybody. But it was more of an empowerment anthem for me than it is anything else.
No, I was getting that when I was hearing that, and I was just like, I try and, you know, like my youngest daughter's into jujitsu and stuff, you know, and she's like been getting out there and like, you know, just like kicking ass and taking names, and it's like I try to encourage them. Yeah, I encourage them, like, you know, don't let any of these cultural barriers stop you from, you know, reaching your goals or going after what you want. You know, it's like you definitely see the world differently when you become a father of young ladies. You know, I mean, I went from the drunken sailor that was running around, you know, gallivanting around and stuff, to like, oh my gosh, I got to protect my little angels now, you know?
Oh, isn't that nice though? That you've got that instinct. Yeah. Not all men get that instinct when they have kids. Not all of them.
No, they saved my life for sure.
Oh, wow.
And then
that's so nice. And yeah, tell her like what I did, what no one told me when I was a kid, which I would have saved me a lot of time. And you know, I don't regret anything because I'm the woman I am because of who raised me and everything that happened in the past. I don't regret anything. But for girls, especially now, being told that they can be anything, why are we telling them that? It should be ingrained anyway. Like, pick what you love. If you're passionate about something at school, if you're getting good grades in something and you're not getting good grades in something, because it doesn't mean you're a failure at maths and English or maths and science. It means they just do not interest you. Because the school system that we have set up now is for people to be good at everything, at just a little bit at everything, and tick boxes. But if you love music and you love English and your kid loves that and they're getting great grades in that, pour into that for the rest of their lives and watch how they thrive, rather than pushing them to be better at maths and better at science. Because naturally people aren't going to be, maybe some kids will get good grades for the rest of their life. And trust me, we do need those people that get that tick boxes and get good grades and become doctors. And thank you, because when my leg falls off, I don't want a wrestler there. But you know, the people that don't display that, the freaky ones that get remarkable results in some areas and terrible results in others, if we pour more into those people in those certain areas, their worlds can change, especially kids. So it's great that you're doing that for her.
Yeah, and like I'm dating a firefighter EMT, and she's just like such a badass, you know. And she encourages me every day as well. It's just like, and like you were saying, there was like some things growing up that just weren't her thing, but she seems to thrive in chaos. And sometimes I hear some horrible calls. Like I was, you know, in the military, and she experienced some more trauma calls than I experienced during my time in the military. I don't know how she does it, man, but she definitely inspires me that she runs towards the, you know, the trauma.
And not everyone, and she sounds amazing, and you're attracted to that because not a lot of people are adrenaline seeking people. They are actually, and it's not just adrenaline and dopamine that we're seeking. It's some people aren't built for that. They like to stay safe. They value certainty. They value safety. They value the comfort of their home. And those people, unfortunately, I believe one day might look back and have some regrets. Because if we choose comfort and certainty and safety over adventure and variety and following that voice inside of us, you don't want to wake up one day and look back and go, oh God, I didn't follow that dangerous, unsafe thing because I was too afraid, or I was too afraid to make a fool of myself or embarrass myself or worry what other people think or stand out or be freaky. If we do that and we don't embrace that inner part of ourselves, we're going to end up one day looking back and going, oh, shoot, you don't want that regret. So I say just whatever you're passionate about and whatever you love, I don't care if you call it a hobby. I don't care if you call it a passion. I don't care if you call it a business. I don't care if it makes $1 or $1 million. If you're doing what your soul and heart wants to do, you're a winner. You're successful, hands down. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care who you're dating. I don't care what you look like. You're a success, and that should be celebrated.
I agree. It's like we weren't created to fit in. We were created to stand out, embrace our uniqueness.
Not all about, not everyone though. Like there's not every single person should be doing that, but I'm sure people that are attracted to you or me or this message or these songs or wrestling or this conversation, these people will be like, they're interested in you for a reason, right? So the reason they're interested in you is because they get something from you that they can't, that touches them, that relates to them. So the guests that you get are going to be attracted to you because your fans need them, your listeners need them. So there's always something beautiful in this. I love it. I love it so much.
Oh yeah, me too, man. I love how the universe works, man, and puts all this together, man. It's always good things. I always hear good things, and there's somebody out there that needs to hear this right now,
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Speaking of things that we need to hear, working on the album, do we have a release date yet?
I would love to tell you that. No, we don't. We just did a showcase in Los Angeles. I'm about to go to Texas in a couple of weeks. We've got a lot going on with promo on the back end with this song. And then once we've really nailed this one down, got the video out and people are really connecting, we'll have a release date for the record. It'll be this year though. And it's freaking amazing. It's so good. This is my only country song on the record, hard rock country song on the record, by the way. Everything else is very, very hard rock.
Nice. And then, do you have a name picked out yet for the album?
It's a very good question. I will report back. I was thinking we could workshop that. So I'm thinking Turned On and Terrified. I like that.
Oh yeah. That's like many first dates. And then
every first date.
Yeah, exactly. I was I was going through your YouTube channel, and I was checking out some of your other songs, and like Rockstar came out to me. What was the message you were sending when you wrote that one?
It's a really good question. So they took the video down because it was too naughty. Like I made a video with because it was actually when I wrote it, it was the first record I wrote with my mentor, Paul Wassine. He's from an Australian band called The Screaming Jets. He passed away 2 years ago. We wrote the record 5 years ago. So he's 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 7. So when I was 2. We wrote the record together, and the song was about, what do you think it's about? Like I had like for me when I wrote it, it was about, I just got back from Hollywood. We'd done a music video. There's lots of stuff going on in America. It was that naughty version of me that was sort of being very playful, and he was a very playful boy, and he got a lot of that. He never toned me down, if that made sense. So if I said something to him, like, for example, this one, Like a Man, it's fuck like a man. If you take that to some people, they'll be like, no way you're putting that out. But the right people will go, I get it. I get what you're saying. I get you. He got me, and I had a band in Adelaide, where I'm from, back in my hometown, and I wasn't happy. I liked it. It was the right place for me at the right time. I was in music school. I just finished wrestling. I was at RCW. I was kind of crossing over into music. And then I went from music school, I did sound engineering, and finished that. And then I was in a band, and we were rehearsing, and about to get shows. And I went, you know what? Whoa. These songs aren't good. I don't like the songs aren't good. I'm not there yet. So I reached out to a couple of producers because I listened to a lot of mentors who told me that you need to write songs. And I got onto a really great producer called Steve James here in Australia. He's done a lot of work with great artists here. And he said to me, same thing that I knew, darling, you have no songs. So I was like, all right, well, I need songs. So I had choruses, I had ideas, I had energy. And Steve and I sat together, and he goes, I'm going to put you onto a dear friend of mine, Paul. Do you know him? He's from the Screaming Jets. So no, I've never heard of him. So I ended up going to his house and sitting with him, and he was really, really cold with me. It kind of reminded me of when I first started in wrestling, how Everyone knows in wrestling there's those old angry vets, they call them, who are like, they're put there on purpose to turn you off from going into the industry. If everyone's just happy and nice to you all the time, it weeds out the people who are just visiting versus the people who are really serious about being there. So he was an old angry vet, and he'd hate me for saying that, but I love you. And he was not nice to me at all. And, you know, that happened to me in the wrestling industry a lot, especially at the start. I had a wrestling trainer that used to, God bless you, Jag, used to jump on my stomach, you know, to toughen up my core. You know, they would make me bump until my elbows bled, you know, that's because you need that kind of mental toughness, and you need that kind of fortuity to be able, ovarian fortuity, to be able to do this sport or be on stage or fail at that level. So, Rockstar, I sang the verse to him and he went, nah. And then I sang the chorus to him, and it's the first time he smiled and he went, that's really good. So we worked on the song together. He and I wrote it back probably 2000, and I'm trying to think of the date, like 17. I didn't put it out till last year because he passed away. So I dedicated it to him. Yeah, because he was the biggest rock star I've ever met. He was such a rock pig. His bass player, been everywhere, done everything. He was hilarious. He was funny. He was in your face. He didn't give a fuck about anything. And he wanted everyone to just be like that. And I think this whole way the world was going, he just wanted me to be able to say whatever I thought and what I was thinking. So he's a huge rock star. And I didn't write it about him, but it ended up being a tribute to him. So that's the story.
Nice. And then I liked on the YouTube channel that you do a lot of like, you know, behind the scenes, backstage or whatever, you know, like making of stuff like that. And there was one that I got a kick out of. It was the segment where you're explaining to a gentleman about getting laid and what that means.
Yeah, that was funny. So he was an actor on a video clip we did called Hurt, which will be out next. And Hurt is definitely a wrestling entrance anthem. It's amazing. It'll be in everything when it comes out. But yeah, I was being interviewed for a BTS from the producer, and Envy, can you just explain what is this laid? I just love bimbos. I love male bimbos. They're my favorite. And you know what the thing is these days, like, men can't really, they can say it. I mean, it depends what side you're on or whatever. You can say whatever the hell you want, but we're in a different culture now where I believe that it's our turn as women to be able to say whatever we want and do whatever we want and wear whatever we want. And it's been like that for a while, but I think it's really, really, really our time. So people like Paulie are speaking through me, you know, people like, you know, all my old wrestling vets that have either passed on or taught me or coached me, they all get to come through me in my art and my personality, which I love.
So you're like bringing the attitude era back in music pretty much, right?
Absolutely. And I even said the other night to my manager, and I'm going to kick his ass, you need to get me someone to throw through a table at this show. And he goes, no. I go, yeah, he's Swedish. I'm like, I want to throw someone through a table at this show. And he's like, oh, no. I'm like, oh, get me a table. I'm like, I'm getting up on the bar. I'm playing guitar on the bar. No. I'm like, I'm going to fire everyone. Like, you need to get me a fucking table. Like, I'm not doing a show without. So expect hate when you come and see me live, because if anyone tells me I can't do something or I shouldn't do something, or I'm doing it.
I remember one of the highlights I still talk about back in the day, like Lita had a punk band, you know, and the Luchagors, and she came through my town and played, and I was front of the stage, and she jumped out of the stage into my arms, and I like carried her through the mosh pit and stuff, and I still you know, brag to my friends about that. Remember that time that Lita drove into my arms, I got to carry her through? So hopefully you come through Cleveland, and then you know, you could put me through a table or something.
You'll have to tell me where to come play there. Well, just tell me, like, is there a good rock bar or good rock club there that we should come play at? You tell me.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few out here. We got Mercury Lounge, we got the Cleveland Agora, we got which is you know, famous. I actually do security at Temple Live, so I could put in a word for you there as well.
I'm just going to send that to my manager and say, Oh, Jamie's there. Hi, Jamie. Jamie's in the
Yeah.
chat. The Agora is the
Jamie's
best. Thanks, Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Oh yeah. The Agora, I'm friends with the people that run that as well. It's got a lot of history. So I think you would enjoy playing there as well.
I just want to throw people through tables. So like if you're around and playing, I want to cause chaos. And it's not just going to be like, here's a girl playing guitar. Next show I do is going to be ridiculous. Like I haven't slept for 3 days. Like I'm wired. Like I want to beat someone up. Like someone's getting kicked. Someone's getting punched. And they'll deserve it. Don't worry. And it won't be you. Or will it? Ooh.
Now, this will lead into my next question. Another song of yours that I was enjoying, The Fire. Let's talk a little bit about that inspiration.
Well, that's it. That's it, isn't it? A belly full of fire. Isn't that the whole thing? No fire in the belly, nothing. So I think what happens is people tend to not pay attention to that fire in the belly. And motivation is bullshit, right? Discipline is what creates everything. So fire is great, but you got to learn to control the fire. So The Fire for me was my first song, really. It was I had a fire to do something, and wrestling it was over for me, and I just didn't want to admit that at all. But I had to you can't be the CEO of 3 things. You know what I mean? You got to pick if you want to be good at something. So I sort of had one foot in wrestling still. I was like, so one foot in music, and you have to pick, like, if you want to be great. So The Fire for me was I've got a fire in my belly. I haven't caught up with myself yet. I'm still learning to sing. I'm still learning to play guitar. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go as big as I can possibly go, and I'll catch up with myself later. And that's always been my philosophy.
And I like what you said too, is just like, motivation fades over time, but discipline is what keeps you going. And, I have my days, man, but it's like, I got to remember, it's just like, yeah, discipline. I got to keep doing this. I got to keep pushing even when I don't want to,
Well, it's not wanting to. I think it's about, if you don't want to do something, there's something really, really deep inside of you that you need to find. And that's what the fire is. It's like, what fires me up? And you said your girls before, and obviously that changes at different stages of life, but what is it that's still firing me up? Why am I still doing this? What's my why? And that fire inside of you, it will not go away. It will never go. And if you die with that fire still inside of you, that's regret. So whatever age you are, wherever you are right now, there is a fire inside of you. I don't care what I know you're dating someone that puts fires out for a living, but put your own fire out. You know what I mean? Like, put your own fire out, empty out your tank, sit on the couch at the end of something and go, I did it. Feel that feeling of actually going after something. Be brave enough, and the right people will show up. Get away from people that are telling you can't do it. Get away from them. Get around the people that are telling you you can, and watch what happens. You deserve it.
Awesome. Well, I want to ask you one last question before we get ready and wrap up. Jamie was getting ready to get the hook out. But who are 3 people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you the person you are today?
Tony Robbins, motivational speaker, life coach. He came along at the time when I was in a real desperate place and listened to all of his stuff. And I highly recommend just finding the videos online. If I told you everyone, for the girls, I would highly recommend Louise Hay. She's a gentle, loving person that will get you out of a really, really tough spot. And I guess overall as a superstar, something that's probably more interesting for this that isn't more self-development focused. Just trying to think who my biggest, who worked with me and got the best out of me. I've mentioned a lot of trainers in this conversation, so I won't give them too much clout, but I'm going to thank me in the end, because at the end of the day, I did everything. It's me. Thank you, me, because I get up every day. I work towards it. I put my money in, I put my skin in the game. I show up, I do the work. So thank you to me. And I also know how to keep my ego. I got to keep my ego in check too.
No, but you're right though. And I appreciate, I thank you for the time to talk. And I hope that some of your playing out, coming back to the States brings you through Cleveland and we get to see you at the Agora or somewhere
Definitely. You guys are
here.
my favorite people in the world. Like, I miss wrestling. I miss the fans. I just miss you guys so much. And I just want to see your eyes, and I just want to light you guys up. So I can't wait to get there.
Nice. And then one last favor before I let you go. Well, first, let me ask you, for any fans out there that are new to hearing about Envy Marshall, want to follow your journey and check out your, your music and everything, where would you send them?
I would just get you to Google Envy Marshall. There's only two of us. One is a gentleman who's in Philadelphia, and he's the only person I follow on Twitter. It's kind of weird. So there's only two of us. So I stand out. Find me on Instagram. I'm very active there. YouTube, you can follow me there. Spotify, Envy Marshall. Send me a follow. And yeah, I'm on everything. I'm across the board. But don't follow the wrong Envy Marshall. There's only two of us.
And then before I let you go, if you could do me one last favor, and I know you'd be good at this, cut a promo ID for the show. Just introduce yourself, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Envy Marshall, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle. Yeah.
Awesome. Envy, thank you so much. I appreciate the time, and I hope
I'm just going to tell you, it was not an unnecessary, wasteful, or fraudulent project. So I'm glad that it didn't.
No, I think this was a really good one. I look forward to posting it. Thanks again for your time.
Bye, guys. Thank you. See ya.
Bye-bye.